Today we're going to learn how to set a design up for cutting. Usually I do this for cutting for vinyl, but you can use it for wood or a pre-cut or whatever else you want to use. But we're going to cover cutting. We're going to use the panda that we created when we were vectorizing a black and white image. The first thing you need to decide is what you're going to be cutting it for. Let's say we're cutting it for a shirt. There's 3 different ways we'd be cutting it for a shirt. If we're cutting it on a white shirt, it needs to be cut one way. If we're putting it on a black shirt, it needs to be cut a different way. And if we're putting it on a colored shirt, it's going to need to be cut a different way. So let's start with our original image. First things first, we're going to need to merge all these separate pieces into one piece because of the fact that we don't want these lines. I'm going to change it to transparent and put an outline on it. If you notice, there's little lines overlapping. But we don't want those there because we want to be able to cut it smoothly and evenly. I'm going to click on that circle and I'm going to shift click on the panda bear body and I'm going to choose my merge function, my weld. And that looks fine right there. I'm going to do the ear, and I'm going to do the other ear. But now everything is together. We want to check by changing it to transparent and putting an outline. And everything is nice and combined without any overlapping lines. So that's our outside of the bear. Go back. But one thing we do want to look at is little things like this. 1, how close that is, and 2, how crooked that is. When it's got a lot of little indentions like this, it makes it more difficult for the vinyl cutter to cut it and for you to clean it. So we want to try to get rid of those. So I deleted these. It's still a little close to that, but I'm going to go ahead and take this node and I'm going to make it a smooth node. That makes it a more round. And this one, I'm going to tell it to convert to curve and then change it to a smooth node. This way it is a little bit more round. It still has a little bit of a flat look right there, but not too much. This one I'm going to get rid of some. And these, I'm going to see if just getting rid of a few will be good. I'm going to just change that to a smooth node, that to a smooth node. This bottom one is fine. And just shrink it in. This is not going to work because if you notice what's happening here, the line is going over itself. So we want to get rid of that and make it not go over itself. And we still get a similar effect. And then we'll do the same thing on this side, or you can copy and paste that piece and reflect it. But I like the eyes to look different and not be exactly the same. So I'm just going to delete a node here and there, make them smooth, delete. This one I won't make smooth because then we'll end up with an oval. You can also add a node by double clicking, and then I could make it smooth. And then we've got our smoother eyeballs. So these are pretty smooth. When you're cutting, you want it as smooth as possible. I'm going to do that for the nose because that's really how a nose should be looking, except if you notice this part is set as a straight line. If it's not giving you to convert to curve, then it's the other node attached. And so you want it to be like that. We're going to get rid of some of these nodes. Get rid of some of these nodes. I know it's a bit smoother, and look right here, we've got another one of those. Hopefully getting rid of those nodes will work, and it does. And we're pretty good on all of that. So now what you want to do is, of course, you're always saving throughout, but you're going to view in wireframe. What you're looking for here is double lines and crossing over lines. Like if there was a crossover here, or little things like this, you want to get rid of that. Let me show you what double lines looks like. I'm copying and pasting. It just looks fatter and blacker than the rest, just slightly. And so I just deleted that. But everything looks good, so then we'll go back to View, Enhanced, and this one is ready to cut from black vinyl to put on a white shirt. Now, if we're cutting to put on a black shirt, we need to do it totally different. I grouped it. So after that, I will take the contour tool, and I'm going to go out, and you want it to go out by a decent amount, because you know you're cutting for a vinyl shirt. 0.05, 0.06 at least. Those would be nice, but you could probably even go up one more just to be safe, because the wider the piece of vinyl, the easier it is to manipulate. So we're going to go back to the pick tool. We'll press Control K to break it apart. And then we're going to take our contour that we just took apart from the rest. We're going to press Control K again, Shift, click, delete. So what we have here is a pink panda bear. That's not what we want, of course. But we're going to grab our black, we're going to Shift click the pink, and we're going to trim. We press Trim, delete the black, and we now have our, we're going to put it transparent with a black outline. This is our white. And we always double check to make sure that there's no extra lines. So we have the white. Let me get the black back. So we have the white to go on a black shirt. And this is, actually it should be on, I make it white. So this is white, and that's how it'll show up. It'll make the panda itself black. And then we have the black to go on the white shirt. Now, when you are doing for a colored shirt, you want to do it, you need both. So if you're going to do it for both, it's easier to line up if you just take this, Control K, Shift click, delete, like we did with the pink. It's easier to line up if you do it this way, because you don't want to have to line up manually. Here, I'll bring this panda back over here. You don't want to have to line all these little black parts up manually onto your white. So it's easier to just make a solid white and then put the black on top. And the beauty is, on the computer, I can just tell it to digitally center. But when you're lining it up at the heat press, you cannot do that. So it's easier if you just make a solid white background and then you print the black on top of that. Before you send this to the printer, you need to make sure that you have an outline, a hairline outline, on the outside of everything. If you notice right here, it shows that it's not. That's because one item has it and one item doesn't. So select everything, right click on the black. That'll add an automatically hairline outline to everything. This already has it because we have it white and it's hard to see it. This does not, because we didn't need it at the time, but we do need it for printing. So then we have our 3 setups of a cute little panda bear to put on a t-shirt.